Shadow on the track. Let's get it. I'm a rock star type nigga, fucks bad bitches. See me in the drop cause I stay.
I'm ready.
All right. Welcome back to another episode with your boys here at M.A.S Media.
What's
All right.
good?
I'm going to have to use my podcast voice. So here we are. This is Big Mike, your boy, Qfusion Reacts.
Yo.
Here with my podcast co-host, Dubble, A.Heff.
Yes, make some noise. Oh.
All right.
Too much fun already. Way too much fun already.
I cannot. So yeah, guys. So welcome back. So we are doing another episode for you guys. Today we have a lovely treat. We have a conversation that was had between two titans within the I wouldn't really know which space, but within the personality space, the TV personality space, I would say, I guess.
At least YouTube.
Yeah, so okay, YouTube personalities. I think that's probably the better way of describing them. So we've got Jesse Lee Peterson, which is the I think it's, you know, for those who don't know, he's got Reverend in front of his name. Oh look, Jesse Lee Peterson is someone that is a known Trump advocate. He's someone that is in the eyes of many, he is a sellout, Uncle Tom. Is a coon squad and brick bandit, if I can say these things on the air. And then you have the infamous Dr. Umar Johnson, and I think I'll let my co-host describe him.
Yeah, Mike, you know what's funny? For those of y'all that's watching right now and are going to watch in the future, Mike and I didn't do any pre-work for this episode. So I'm very curious to see how this is going to transpire.
We do it live.
I'm very curious because Umar Johnson is a no good, low down, dirty. No, all jokes aside. But in all seriousness, Umar Johnson, allegedly at least, is a multiple degree holder and a doctor of child clinical psychology, school psychology. And again, allegedly, he's worked in many schools in the greater Philadelphia area. And currently, he is trying to open up a school called the FDMG Academy for quote unquote young black boys. That's, the glowing thing about Umar. Now, yeah, we'll get into more on Umar because I don't want to spoil it. No, I don't want to spoil it. For those of y'all that are native to my specific channel, Double A.Heff, the True Scope, y'all already know where this is going. For those of you who oh my God, who exclusively follow Qfusion Reacts, you're in for a rude awakening. And for those of you from the M.A.S Media channel, I don't think I've ever spoken about Umar on that channel yet, so this is going to be interessante.
All right, this is going to be fun. So let's see how they started off. Let me see if I should go back a little bit just to get this going.
Oh, this is
There's no such thing as racism. It's a word that made up to deceive.
Wait, what happened?
I didn't know you were choosing the video. This is from the Fox Soul debate, and that dude on the far right, Michael Imhotep. Oh, I got words for that brother too. Let's go.
All right, so you've seen this already?
I did a 3-part series on this already.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay, shit. Oh, damn.
Well, I was cool about to be part 4, but this motherfucker.
Yo, all right. So this is going to be interesting.
And so when they use the word sellout, it's just like the word.
The word sellout does exist, and that it is used, right?
Yeah, it is used just like the word racism. We all know that there's no such thing as racism. It's a word that made up to deceive the blind. My God. When they use the word sellout, it's meant to divide and conquer. But if you're not in a fallen state, meaning that Satan is not your daddy,
Whew.
you can see.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's just, yo,
Oh my God!
yo, some of the things he be just, yeah, it's like I love it because he knows what he's doing, man. He's not a fucking idiot. And Satan is not your daddy.
Satan is not your daddy.
Oh my God, man.
The game that's being played. Like Dr. Umar just said, he just spoke as a blind man. He has no idea what he's talking about because there's no such thing as slavery syndrome or whatever he said. Our battle is a spiritual battle. It's either right or wrong.
So what he just touched on, and I guess we started this video a little after Umar said.
Yeah.
But what Umar said, and again, I'm familiar with this panel discussion. What Umar was talking about was post-traumatic slave disorder or disease or whatever. And that's something that I never heard of until maybe about literally right before COVID struck. Some mulatto girl that I worked with was she brought it up, and I was like, "What? What? What? Wait, so basically, thank you. Basically, you're trying to tell me that you shouldn't be held accountable for things that you're doing now because of the things that your fucking ancestors went through? Nah. That's just more fucking that bullshit. So, I agree with Jesse on that, and Umar is wrong with that. I'm not trying to hear none of that bullshit, man. Post-traumatic slave disorder, because you know what? Quote-unquote black people weren't the only slaves on this planet in all of human history. So if that's going to be the cop-out, then everybody, at some point, their people were a slave. Everybody. So, yeah, again, I'm totally against that. I know that's being pushed in these liberal fucking universities and colleges across the nation. But you know what? When y'all hear that shit, y'all got to squash that out. Like, no, we're not accepting that, because all that is giving these motherfuckers another way to be victims for at least another fucking 5 to 8 years. And it's like, no more victimship. Be accountable. Be responsible.
Yeah, no, I think that's a big thing that I took away from, because I didn't see the beginning of this interview. I think that this is Dr. Umar's channel. Then I think he probably broke it, took this snippet because it was probably the most impactful part of or one of them parts of the conversation. So I think my thing is just that, I mean, right on par with what my co-host mentioned. I think that we are. It's something about the West, man. There's so many different buffers that get put into place, for people to show why they don't succeed. You know what I mean? Like there's always something that's holding somebody somewhere down. You know what I mean? Like whether it's about obesity, whether it's about the path to success. There's always something, and I think there's a lot to be said. And I think we talked about this on prior episodes. There's a lot to be said as to why the African, and I say the African because obviously there are so many different countries that make their way over here, but essentially the African, why, when, as me being a Nigerian American, why when we come here, there's just such a different trajectory of success, right? Because we don't see I'm not saying we don't see color, but we essentially come from a place where color, the idea of color really doesn't have its, bearing on the fabric of society like it does here, right? Like we don't go about every day going, oh, like for instance, one of the biggest atrocities that hit that has happened on the planet happened in Nigeria. When you're talking about the Biafran War, we're upwards of 2 million, and they don't even have a direct number because of the fact that a lot of bodies either were decomposed by the time that NATO got there. So they weren't able to get a direct depiction, and there was a lot of children that also passed away as a result of the dehydration and the starvation that took place in this country. So there's not a lot of, you could just say that Igbo people would run around, as a result, because this was the tribal group that got afflicted. You would then take that to say, well, Igbo people, as a result, have a perfect excuse as to why they don't want to be successful and don't want to do things in regards to obtaining success. Well, when in actuality, the highest the group that trends the most when it comes to being successful, that come to the United States, are those from the Igbo tribe from Nigeria.
Yeah, I think the world's richest man is Igbo, or like top 5.
So and that doesn't surprise me in the least bit, because we don't walk around with the victim mentality. We don't walk around to say like, oh, well, you know, and we were a British colony for the longest, right? So it does, you know, and it's not to say that there's no sort of colorism doesn't exist in Nigeria. You're obviously going to have it where, you know, lighter skin, you know, because we had that British colony influence, you're going to have it where you have that light skin debate about, you know, your auntie's so damn dark. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know, I was a little bit more shunned. I mean, highlighted because I was a lighter one. You know, I was more seen as more pretty. The other ones were looked, you know, they have that, right? That dichotomy exists. But to say that we're going to blame, you know, everything on the man or the system and all this, it's incredible how the lengths that people will go to skirt tail responsibility, like my co-host mentioned, and take accountability. It's insane. So let's carry on.
Good or evil. And in the good old days, when boys were boys and men were men knew that, and they led their wives and children in the right way to go. And they did have a conduct of morality. They treated everyone they would like in the way that they would like to be treated, never mind the color. They taught their children how to work and be responsible and not blame and whine. And they didn't put it out there as though they couldn't make it. Dr. Umar Johnson just made up.
Well, just real quick, and I also want to add this. I heard this from I don't know if you watched the Lapeef Network. If you don't, I would advise, because they do a panel on this with like different personalities from the African American community. And they have some guys on there that be talking crazy, and then they obviously have those guys that are a little more left leaning. And a more liberal, you know what I'm saying? The wokey wokes, you know, I'm blackity black because I'm black, y'all. You know, I'm blackity black. They have those type of guys. And one of the funniest things, and this guy fucking chaotic, Aaron. This dude is probably we're gonna do definitely. I'm gonna bring a video up. Try to see if I can get one locked in, because they do like 4-hour streams, where they just go off on topics. But anyway, this guy named Chaotic be saying he was like, Can you name me? He said a name, right? And this guy named Logic will say like, this is like a N-word test, and he was like, he gave the name to everybody. He was like, can y'all tell me who this person is, right? Have you heard this name? And everybody was like, nah. I mean, I don't know who that lady is. I'm not sure who that lady is. And he was like, that was the first black astronaut to reach space. And nobody knew this person's name. So then he flipped it. Then he said, then he gave a name of a famous singer from the early 70s, right? The person was able to pick up on the name. The person laughed and was like, ha, 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 and was able to give the name like this. There's a reason behind this. Figures that are important to the fabrics, the different fabrics of society in these communities. There is a reason why these people do not get the adoration and the love that they should be getting, and it's paramount as to why, you know, the figures that end up getting the love are the, you know, as the state of the community is where it's at. You know, I think they spoke a lot to that conversation. I just wanted to throw that quick tidbit in there. So anytime you want to, you know, challenge someone on, you know, any wokety woke on, you know, how truly do they love the community, ask them, you know, what if they really know their figures.
Listen,
I totally agree with that. However, not even however, I'll just add this little caveat. The wokety wokes, they are as fake as a $3 bill. You know what I mean? You don't even have to ask them something like that. I mean, if you do, they'll be stumped for sure. But you can even bring it down with them and just ask them for a solution to the problems that they're bitching about.
Oh yeah.
All they do is bitch about everything. But if you ever ask them, okay, so what do you think we should do? They got nothing for you. No solutions. Because they're a bunch of bitch-made, wokety-woke supremes.
Oh my God!
Add extra onions to that shit, man. Because they out here cry. No, but on some G shit, man. That's, you know what I'm saying. Like, just ask them. So what should we do? And that's it.
Yo. No, I agree. Yo, there was a part, and oh my god, bro, I almost want to like turn this episode on, bro. He was like, you guys complain so much about this country, right? You guys have all these different issues when it comes to this country, but he was like, I don't see you driving around in an African car. Nope. I don't see your clothes looking African. Nope. He was like, where is your goat, sir? Where is your zebra?
Exactly.
So I fucking started. He's like, show me your zebra, sir. Bro, I started crying, man.
Bro, you so black, right? You so black.
Yo, he was like, show me your zebra. I want to see your zebra outside, parked out front. And I was like, yo, this ninja's crazy. And he had married. He was like, and he was like, oh well, you know, he's like, there's African cars, there's African, you know, clothing brands, there's African type of everything, but yeah, I don't see you rocking it.
Nope, I don't see none of them leading the expedition to the quote unquote motherland. I don't see none of them, bro. None of them out there trying to go back. I don't see them trying to come up with actual solutions. I don't see them leading the fucking revolution.
Nah,
these niggas out here talking like they fucking, Malcolm X is this, and Marcus Garvey and Martin Luther King. I don't see these niggas starting no revolutions, no nothing, man. Hey,
these ninjas can't even take a day off, man.
Bro, they all that, then hey, you fire the first shot and let everybody else follow you. Y'all just talking a whole bunch of shit, ain't doing shit, man. That's my biggest contention with these motherfuckers. They out here, at least if, you know, I give respect to the people. You know, for instance, like back in the day, not even back in the day, even today, the Nation of Islam. You know what? They got their own thing. It's like a very cut off group of people. They're doing their own thing. They're kind of like self-run. I mean, I have my issues with them still, but hey, at least they're fucking committed to that lifestyle, and they operate in that bubble. You know, they have their hierarchy with that. So respect to that. However, everybody else, all these other super woke bullshit ass niggas ain't doing nothing but got everything to say about something with no solutions. Come on, bro. Man. Like the Xavier Jackson of the world.
Yo,
I'm dropping names. I'm dropping names, man.
Oh my God!
This guy's crazy. I'm tired of this, man. You might have noticed I fell back from like social media. I fell back from even doing my videos and stuff. I fell back, but you know, like, I got all this energy now. I'm ready. You know, like it's over. It's over for that, man. It's over for that shit. Yeah, I'm tired of niggas talking. At least have something. Like people can say what they want about me. Oh, you misogynist, you this and you that. At least I got a channel. At least I'm getting my message out. I'm urging people to spread my message. And whether you can agree or disagree with it, I got solutions. You would listen to any one of my fucking talks, whether it's on this channel with Mike, whether it's on my own channel. I got solutions. You know what the fuck I'm for, what I'm against, and how I'm trying to fucking get to where I'm trying to go.
Yeah, this dude's crazy. Yeah,
I'm sorry,
but hey, man, hey, no, you gotta get it out there, man. I can't even retort none of that, man.
Reverend Jesse, I don't think we should suggest that one person knows more than the other, in a sense of you saying you know it all and anyone else on the panel knows less. That's a little unfair.
Yeah, well, I may not know my flowers, but I know Dr. Umar Johnson is blind and that he's wrong and he doesn't know God. So he's telling people words, fancy words, in order to deceive them. If you knew that our battle is a battle between good and evil, then you wouldn't make up words in order to deceive. You would tell the truth and hope that those who are blind may wake up and see the right way to go. I grew up on a plantation down in Alabama under the Jim Crow law, and back then, black people...
There were no slaves on that plantation?
Well, yeah, they have.
How old does he think he is?
Oh my God, yo! He said there were no slaves on that.
Oh my God!
Yo,
she thinks she got a real life slave on her panel.
How old does she think this ninja is, man?
She said there was no slaves on that plantation.
Are you kidding? And she said, look, she got a straight face. She got a straight face. There's no smile, no nothing. Hold on, am I missing something?
Matter of fact, my grandparents.
Okay, I think she's trying to crack us out. Cause this is crazy. This is crazy. Yo, did she really just utter that?
Wow, Foxhole, ladies and gentlemen.
Damn, yo.
Ran the plantation, but they weren't slaves when I was growing up.
Segment, I didn't even realize that until you said
black
that.
People had a sense of morality then, and they loved what was right. They worked hard. They loved their country. They didn't blame because the men were leading the way.
Hold that thought, Reverend Jesse.
Now the black men sound like women.
Hold that thought, Reverend Jesse. Dr. Umar, go ahead.
Jesse, agree.
Yeah, Jesse be just going in, man. That's what I
don't want him to
stay congruent,
bring
buddy.
your name up and not allow you to respond.
It's okay. I had been on Reverend Jesse's show before, and they have been trying diligently to have me come back.
Look at that. And look at that. He ain't slick.
One of the reasons I did not return to the show is because I believe that Jesse Lee Peterson knows better. In fact, he would be a textbook definition of a sellout, because he is the type of black man who will bend over backwards to absolve the American white power structure of any responsibility.
Hold on. I'll have you something right there. Perfect. Whenever a quote unquote black person calls another quote unquote black person a sellout, 99% of the time, it's a cop out. Yeah, and the person that's actually applying that moniker is the actual sellout.
Oh,
yeah. So to what Umar just said, dropping bombs on him, dropping fucking bombs on him. So Umar was just saying, to the quote unquote, Jesse's trying to absolve responsibility from the quote unquote white power structure. Let's just stop right there. Am I sitting here saying that there isn't a quote unquote white power structure? No, I'm not, because we all understand that it is. We're the minority over here, right? The quote unquote minority. That's what we are, right? So obviously they have the quote unquote power structure. However, by Jesse saying what he said does not automatically mean I'm absolving them. No, I'm just not absolving quote unquote black people of their responsibilities. And Umar should be one to get on board with that and say, hey, yeah, let's start in home. Let's start at home. But obviously Umar's never going to start at home because he hasn't started at home. He hasn't. That's why the school ain't fucking open yet. How many years has it been, man? How many years has it been since he purchased the school? Because I remember he was talking for years about buying a school, getting a school. Then the nigga purchased the shit out in Delaware. How long has he had it already? At least before COVID. So what, 3-4 years now, and it still ain't open? But yeah, he's still asking for money. Come on, man.
No, I think that there's definitely a ton of truth there. I think the problem with guys like Umar Johnson, okay, is that they are just so hell bent on. I don't know. They have this warped way of seeing the world, right? Their sense of reality is that it's like an us versus them at all times, right? Like the back is against the wall. The good fight is always there, needing to be maintained. And I think that they are constantly, while they keep advocating that there's always a bigger picture and that there's always more behind the scenes, I don't even think they even themselves fully understand the big picture that there's truly out there represented. Like, for instance, as my co-host mentioned, to say that there is no structure, there is no white structure or white hierarchy, or because he talks a lot about the hierarchies. I was watching another call he had where he was talking to some LGBTQ people. That was a mess as well. But there was a sense of hierarchies, right? And so is it to say that there are that the Constitution was obviously, not made with the thought in mind of people of color? Sure. Okay, great. Now, but let's fast forward, right? Because I think what the problem is that there's a constant need to sit in the wallowed past of disrespect, of trials and tribulations, right? And then there's no sort of acknowledgement as of the progress that has been made to rectify those gross misgivings and misdeeds that were occurring. That is something that guys like Umar Johnson, I don't even think really even they're not genuine, right? These arguments are never genuine because they're never taken from a place of some realized absolute truths that exist between the people. If we can't hold our people accountable, and I'm not talking about surface level type shit. When you're talking about interracial relationships, his mean and his, I'm saying his take on it is, is extremely problematic, because if you're telling me that I need to grow with this community, right, which does not have a community, you're telling me and if I'm going to be taken from a personal perspective, right, I'm Nigerian, so you're telling me that simply off the fact of being Nigerian American, I need to then go in lockstep with someone who that quite frankly could give a fuck less, if they're not able to do a 23andMe or Ancestry.com, they care less where they come from. They don't want to trace their lineage. They could care less, what I'm saying? They'd rather think about those barbecues on every summer Sunday,
Juneteenth.
What I'm saying? They're focused on getting holidays off for Juneteenth. Like, you're telling me to connect with this culture, and I'm talking about the culture of 1920, right? When you started having, you had Langston Hughes, you had
Booker T. Washington.
You had Booker T. Washington.
You had Marcus Garvey.
You had all these heavy hitters, right, who were basically perpetuating excellence, right? Now, this culture, right, which I'm sorry to say, has now demonized, into something that's it's deplorable, to the fact that people in my country look at you individuals as lesser than, because of this culture that you think is just something to be admired and to be exalted. It's insane. There's no reason for me. There's no benefit. No. Right? I could get with a Caucasian person that doesn't speak Italian or doesn't speak Irish and isn't connected and doesn't go for Italian American festivals and all this other shit. It's the same exact shit. Both of y'all don't know where y'all are from.
Yeah.
It's like, the difference is that one probably has the father and the mother in the house, so I know that there's some sense of structure there, and the other has no guidance.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on all of that. I just think that's definitely a conversation for a different day that we can
for sure.
into, right? To keep things relevant to this conversation. I totally agree with where you started and even where you went, because again, people that don't know who Umar Johnson is, allow me to enlighten you. Umar Johnson fancies himself as the modern day Marcus Garvey. And that's why he's naming his school the Marcus Garvey Frederick Douglass Academy. And also, for those of you who don't know, Umar used to claim that he was a distant relative of Frederick Douglass. And the actual relative to Frederick Douglass said, stop saying that because that's not true. Yeah, so Umar Johnson is a goddamn liar. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to totally lambaste Umar, because when he speaks about things in his lane, which is school psychology and how quote unquote young black boys and young black girls get mislabeled as ADHD and all sorts of stuff. No, that's totally his realm, and we should definitely follow brothers like that. Absolutely. With that. But when he's speaking about interracial dating, like Mike was just talking about, or aka Qfusion Reacts was talking about, or when he's talking about when he's addressing Jesse Lee Peterson as it pertains to the quote unquote white power structure, no, he's wrong. And honestly, he's out of his league. And it's not a personal attack on Omar. It's totally not. It's just he is just incorrect. Because you know what? I'll say this as well. I read all the volumes of Marcus Garvey, all of them. And that's not like reading a goddamn book where you have a beginning, a middle, and an end. That's reading fucking just notes that this nigga is writing for his whole life. Just notes. Mm-hmm. So it's like, all right, I know. What I'm trying to say is it's difficult. It's not continuous. So it was very difficult. So whenever I hear this guy, Umar Johnson, talking about, Frederick Douglass, Marcus Garvey this, Marcus Garvey that. Marcus Garvey worked with the fucking KKK back in his day and was lambasted by W.E.B. Du Bois for it and other quote unquote top 10th, what they call it?
I know what you're talking about.
The Magnificent 10th or whatever they called it back then, like the 10% of the quote unquote black people that actually mean something. Some more woke bullshit, you know what I'm saying, that these super liberals fucking are trying to push today. So no, Marcus Garvey, why was he working with the goddamn KKK? Because he said, you know what? I'm trying to do what I got to do. Y'all don't like us. We don't like you. Let's work together to keep our shit together, separate. You won't ever hear this nigga fucking Umar talking about working with white people. He's trying to land base him every goddamn day. But if you're a prodigy of goddamn or a steward, not a steward, if you're a prodigy or a spawn of goddamn Marcus Garvey and his ideology and his thinkings and that Pan-African shit, you would do whatever you have to do by any means necessary, to quote Malcolm X, to get the fucking results you want. I'm sorry, Mike, but you know, I'm sorry. Lord. You know what? I gotta mute myself because I'm about to light a fire over here. I'm about to light a fucking fire.
Yeah, this guy. No, by all means. Hey, look, man. I defer, man. While I've seen enough of Umar Johnson from the Breakfast Club interviews and some of his
DJ Vlad.
No, dear Lord, that was difficult. But like some of his keynote speaking and things of that nature, right? I've seen him have those conversations and debates with people that have come to watch him and listen to him. You know what I mean? So I've tried. You know what I'm saying? I've tried to figure something that I can sort of connect and latch onto, and I think that's where the point you made about his psychology back, because no matter what anybody wants to say, right? And even if they're talking about, oh, show me the degrees. Look, at some point or another, you've got to, again, adhere to the facts. And if this guy is able to provide the evidence, he's able to showcase the fact that he's been to numerous, he's got the scholastic ability and the scholastic achievement to have certain types of conversation. You've got to give him a mulligan, right? I'm not saying to believe him outright, right? Like my co-host mentioned, but you've got to at least take credence into some of the things that he says, right? So I think when it comes to things of that nature, when it comes to child development, when it comes to that conversation as to how do we better sort of unlock the potential of our youth from a education background, I think that's something. Yeah, obviously, I can agree with you there. I definitely walk in lockstep. But when he starts going off the handle and starts this whole, and then the victimhood, Olympics starts. It's very difficult for me to
victimhood Olympics.
Yeah,
I've never heard that, bro. I've never heard that.
It's tough, man. It's tough for me to latch on to his cause.
For what happens to black people. And like many sellouts, they always ignore or they try to retreat away from acknowledging the role that systemic racism plays in the life of black people. Racism is not only about the individual mistreatment of black people, it is about the systemic mistreatment of black people. See, racism is a system that all white people participate in to disadvantage all members of another group. So you don't opt in, you don't opt out. And members of the target group don't opt in or opt out. But what they can do, as Jesse Lee Peterson has so effectively.
So I get asked quite often, very often actually, why do you always say quote unquote? Why do you always say quote unquote? I say quote unquote black because there's no such thing as a black person. Black is the color of tar. That's black. All right? That's black. But when you consider yourself black, when you acknowledge that not even acknowledge, because you can't acknowledge something that's not correct or true. When you accept that to be your identity, then you hear someone like Umar saying, hey, white people, no matter what, are racist, then you have to accept that too. Because if you're black and they're white, then that means all white people are racist. And that's just not true. It's just not true. Because there's no such thing as black. There's no such thing as white. Period. He's setting you up so that way he can keep getting money. Because as long as there's an enemy, I can make money. For instance, in any great sitcom, any great fucking TV series, Game of Thrones, Sopranos, you name it, as long as you always have a fucking enemy and one might die but another one might pop up, hey, I got money coming in. And that's the same for Umar. It's the same. As long as you buy into that bullshit, you're going to buy into KKK is my fucking sworn enemy. Listen, I never had any run-ins with the KKK in my whole entire life. Am I saying that it doesn't happen? No, I'm not. I'm sure it happens. But you know what? I'm also sure that people down south know where they shouldn't be going. I'm not saying it's right to not go to certain places. But hey, you know what? Is it worth your fucking life to make that big of a stand? To die and not be remembered for nothing? And then at least form a platform and say, hey, this part of Alabama is fucking KKK Central. I want to expose them and do whatever, do something. But don't just be like, oh, I'm going to, go over here and get killed because I'm going to be a martyr that no one ever fucking hears about. So no, Umar, you are incorrect. Anyone that's like, oh, I'm black, y'all, I'm black and black and I'm black and I'm black, and you tell someone like me, oh, use a sellout, use a Sambo ass nigga, because I'm sitting here telling you that you are not black. Black is this. You see this shit behind me? This is black. My headphones is black, nigga. My beard is black. Black is a color. Black does not denote any fucking country, no culture, no religion, no nothing. I'm sorry, man.
No. It's
the worst video that we could have did because I can't listen to the nonsense.
No.
Man.
It's just it's tough because I think that the problem with people like Umar Johnson is that they're gonna man, it's so many people want to just latch on to this, right? Like they want to believe the boogeyman exists. They want to believe that there is some non-existent entity that is just, hovering about their everyday life that causes them to go from
holding them back.
Yeah, to keep them from getting to where they want to be in life. And I just think it's sad. You know what I mean? It's uncomfortable, right? Not because it's the truth, because I can deal with uncomfortable truths, right? I listen to them all the time, right? It's just this is an uncomfortable lie that I think that just keeps getting pushed further and further into the pot of nonsense that divides everyone, right? Because when I go to predominant areas, right, where there's what's it called? Let's just say the school I went to was a PWC, a predominantly white college. It was 90% Caucasian, and then it was I think 5 or so percent, don't kill me, but 5 or so percent African American or African of the diaspora, and the rest was some nondescript ethnicities. When you go on campus, it's obvious that you start to look around. You're like, shit, man, I am out of place. Like I am, I definitely could use that to my advantage. But I could use that crutch to say, well, shit, well, there's nobody here that looks like me. Well, why don't I just basically just mail it in? You know what I'm saying? Why am I even here? Why did I choose this place? And I just and you saw that a lot because I was in the Black Student Union, and you would see a lot of people would spend a lot of their time complaining about the different things that the college doesn't offer, because of this, what they need more avenues for people of color, this and all this. And my thing is like these were the same people that were basically not even making it to the end of the semester. So my thing is like if we're gonna play that game, right? And I'm not sitting here saying that I was a scholarly I was a scholastic athlete. I had a great, my GPA was trash. But what I can tell you is that because of my relationships that I built with not just the people in the Black Student Union, but the people that were in the SGA, which was the student government, I believe administration, and other different avenues, which were predominantly Caucasian, right? Because I took those avenues and because I didn't just look at my skin and go, oh, well, these people aren't going to like me because they're not going to fuck with me because I'm this, because I took the opportunity, and this is coming from, anecdotal, obviously. So it's not the experience for everybody or in general, but because I took an opportunity to say, let me not just, play the blame game, this is something that, I can benefit from. I'm paying all this money. Shit, I might as well milk this shit while I can. So I just don't understand. I mean, I understand why, because it's easier, right? It's easier to just blame people for your misgivings and for your inadequacy. But at the end of the day, at what point do you sit back and go, fuck? And you know what? And I know what that point is. The point is when you're like 40 plus, right? If you're a man that does this, you're probably Dr. Umar's age. And it's kind of interesting to me. He's someone that talks about the system this, the system that, but he's got like 5 degrees, and he's put the money together. He's put the money together allegedly to put together a school. Which, if there was an entity that was keeping him back from doing any of this, I don't know how he would get the permits to get the property. I don't know how he would be able to get into the town hall and be able to get the clearance to be able to create such a a building, because I have seen the physical building, right? It's just a matter of is it actually in running. I think that's always the question that people have. But essentially, I don't know how you would get these things if there was a larger conspiracy in place for you to even get that.
But that's the thing, though. If you let him tell it, he will tell you the reason why the school ain't up is because of them. I'm fighting white supremacy. I need hit the Cash App, hit the PayPal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but for the non-educated, yeah, they're gonna see that. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, he's right. Maybe that's why it's taking him so long. Man, there's always no. But if you think about it, it's like, if you know anything about real estate, you know that in order to get that type of thing in the beginning, someone's got to clear it. The town has to clear it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm pretty sure that there are Caucasian people, and I mean, maybe in the part of Baltimore, I mean, the part of Delaware.
Wilmington, Delaware.
Oh, no.
Wilmington, Delaware.
Yeah, no. And also, that's probably a nice tax write-off, too, because that's a popular place that corporations utilize in order for tax incentives, because it's they have a ton of different a lot of entities basically will have their holding location there, I should say.
Yeah,
there's
no taxes, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, if you go to most companies, big companies, their articles and corporation, they'll tell you that they're based out of Wilmington, Delaware, and that's for tax purposes. But anywho, so I wouldn't be surprised as to why he picked that location in particular. Anyway, so yeah, that is something that it puzzles me about the African American community is this incessant need to blame someone, and you can see it in his face, man. You can see the sensationalism that he's drawing up, the pain, the fucking angst, the fear, because essentially this is fear. This is coming from I'm sorry to say, this is coming from a place of fear. All his points come from a place of there is no light at the end of the tunnel. There's only they exist. What you either acknowledge it, or you're a Sambo, like my co-host said, or you're an Uncle Tom. Or a pickaninny, or that's another one. That's
but again, to like where you're going, ultimately there's no solutions.
Absolutely,
there's no solutions.
He
can tell you about all the problems, all the enemies, and how they move, and all that stuff, but no solution.
Yeah, all these issues, all these problems.
Done in his career is they can identify with the power structure. They can identify with white racism, and they can carve out a niche for themselves by,
even though he grew up in a predominantly African American community,
defending the racism that is attacking black people, as opposed to defending black people against that racism. A black man in America who does not stand up for his people, and in turn aligns himself with the structure that is eating away at the opportunities of black people, can go very far in this country. Senator Tim Scott is an example. Jesse Lee Peterson is an example. And we will continue to create these types of personalities, Sister Tammy, if we don't come up with the code, and if the black community doesn't start holding its members accountable for dysfunction.
Oh my God!
There were slaves in America. That is not happening today, and it wasn't happening when I was growing up in Alabama.
Fucking dummy.
This idea that slavery is the cause of the lack of morality for black people is insane. It's just another.
So just a quick thing. He doesn't even look that old. Like he looks, crack. If it wasn't for his, I mean, that's because he's from where he's from. Obviously, his linguistic capability, but
he has a cleft palate or some shit like they call it. Yeah, that's why he keeps the beard. But if he didn't have a beard, he got
the Negro palate.
No, he got that thing that you see on like send money to help these kids. Maybe having like like that.
Yeah. Okay, then that's crazy. But he's got something going on. But I thought he was on the spectrum for a second. That's why I tried to.
Sign of illogical mindset. Because when I was growing up,
that was for myself.
The bathroom was outdoors. Outside bathroom. I had to work the cotton fields and things like that. But it was the character of the man or the woman that counted. And when I was growing up, black people at that time were known to be men and women of character. Today, black people Not all, but most are known to be men and women who lack character. The world knows that black people are suffering not because of this phony idea of racism, slavery, systemic racism, and all that crap. They know that black people are immoral, that they come from failing parents, and that they hate everybody, and they have no love.
Oh my God! Is it Reverend?
Oh, here we go. Look at the faces. Look at the face.
That's not your story, is it, Reverend Jesse? Is that?
Look at the face. Look at the face. Look at the face. Oh my God.
Yeah, I hope you don't have the video. I hope this ain't the video where Michael Imhotep starts talking, because if he does, I'm a fillet that dude, bro.
Yeah, he hasn't. I think maybe there's a reason.
Fillet this dude, bro.
I want to hear him speak.
No, you don't.
Nah. I want to hear. Oh, here we go.
African American community.
You guys need to stop. The president, they respected him because he was not into color. He gave Black University more money than anybody else, and all they did was misuse it. He did more to help the blacks than anyone else.
All different levels of these companies that we spend money with, but bring that money back to the African American community.
You guys need to stop begging, man.
Bring that money back to the black people. Please, sir, don't interrupt.
Yield, Jesse.
Michael, stop begging.
Yield, Jesse. Yield, Jesse.
Bring that money back to the African American community,
Michael.
And you utilize that money to help empower African American owned businesses also.
Because that's what he's doing. That's what he's
Michael, men don't beg.
Please,
stop doing
that. Please, sir, don't interrupt me.
Begging, man.
I'm holding back on you because I respect my elders, but
stop begging, Michael. What men do?
I'm not begging.
Men make things happen. They don't beg. They don't beg.
Jesse, you wouldn't know a man if you met one.
They don't want reparations.
Stop right there. All right, so I just want to emphasize what Jesse said, and I totally agree with it. You know, at the end of the day, men do not beg. Men don't beg, man. Like he said, men make a way, and men deal with the repercussions of their circumstances and their decisions ultimately. So, I mean, at what point do we stop and say, "Hey, yeah, slavery happened a long time ago"? Well, I mean, relatively not a long time ago, but like long enough where it's far enough away from me where I'm not really feeling it today. Contrary to what Umar is going to tell you. But when does it stop them? If you keep listening to Umar and this dude, it doesn't stop. And it's not going to stop for you, and it ain't going to stop for your child, your grandchild, your great-great-grandchild. It's never going to stop. So ultimately, as a quote-unquote people, we have to say, when do we say it's over? When do we say, okay, that was then, this is now?
No,
because if you don't,
I don't know.
You have to accept it for your child. Your child has to accept it, and your child's child has to accept it, and everyone has to accept it for perpetuity, unless miraculously everyone gets their 40 acres and a mule, which we all know is never going to happen. It's never going to happen. So if you accept it, everyone else on your line has to accept it, and I'm not saying like literally has to. I'm saying like you are setting precedent for them to have to accept it. So even if you don't agree with Jesse all the way, but at what point does it end? At what point do you stop saying, "Oh, yo, I need this," and stop begging, like he's saying, and be a man and say, "Hey, you know, I got 2 hands that the Most High gave me. I have a brain that the Most High gave me, and I can become a carpenter. I can become a welder. I can become this. I can become a mechanic. There's so many things that I can do that I can create a sustainable life for me and my family, and not only that, teach my offspring how to emulate what I did and recreate what I did, and not just recreate, but make it greater than I did." That takes one person to do it.
They made their way. The black man when I was growing up, they made their way. They didn't beg the white man for anything because they didn't.
It's not begging white people. Wait a second.
White men were superior.
If you go back to if you look at the Homestead Act of 1862, that was a massive land giveaway of 245 million acres of land that mostly went to white people. Okay, if you want to talk about how white people got over in this country, It's by stealing the land, reallocating the land, enslaving African people for 246 years, passing laws.
Yeah, no, and that, I think that's my thing with Jesse is that it's very the only reason why I would say it's hard to have a conversation with Jesse is because, like, you know, when you try to bring up, like I said before, like absolute truths, right? Like things, actual factual things that happened, right? Like it's very, you know, he has his moments, you know what I'm saying, where he, you know, starts dipping in the Kool-Aid a little too much. But shit, what was I was gonna say something about. We lost my point. What was he about to? Oh yes, this whole notion about the conquer and enslave and taking people's lands. I mean, what? It's like people forget about human nature, right? Like, I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, but at the end of the day, shit happens. Like, there was it's because, you know what it is? It's because we are able to sit back. We got these beautiful computers. We've got this mic. We got this, you know, this beautiful this home that we're in. You know, this, you know, the air that we breathe, the fucking the internet. You know what I'm saying? The microwaves, the ovens, the sneakers, all of this. It's because we have all of these beautiful conveniences that we're able to talk this about the human. You know, the past, about how humans really did interact, about the survival of the fittest. Right, this is how many countries advance. This is how many countries and the shit that you're doing today would not be possible if these countries did not decimate those that inhabited the lands that they were seeking. Yeah. So we need to get out of this whole like we're just like some children in a history class going, oh my, just like every time you hear something about, you know, the Native American, it's very sad what happened to the Native Americans. No one takes it away from them. But I don't see nobody over here asking for GoFundMe's for reservations. Yeah, but you know, on another note, the Native Americans, contrary to popular belief, were quote unquote black. But an extension on that is why I have an appreciation for Tariq Nasheed. Because what Tariq does, even though he goes way into that white supremacy shit, yes. But what he also does is he acknowledges that, hey, this country we built. So, like you just said, all those freaking accessories and amenities that we have today, it would never have happened if they didn't fucking import slaves from the west coast, quote unquote, of Africa and bring it here. Oh yeah, and bring them here. We wouldn't have these. The world itself would not be as you know it. Yeah, had that not happened. So you can complain and all that stuff, but the same people complaining, y'all don't want to go back to Africa because why? Because y'all don't want to give up these same amenities that would not be in existence if it never happened. Am I saying, oh, slavery is a good thing and you should be thankful for it? No, not necessarily. But if that's how you're going to digest what I'm saying, then you and I shouldn't be in the same room having a conversation. You know, I'm speaking to people that are going to be able to gestate what the hell I'm saying, which roughly breaks down to this. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Because if you're not, you know, leading the surge back to Africa, then that tells me you don't want to be in Africa. So if you don't want to be in Africa, then you'd probably be miserable if you were never brought here anyway. So the guys on this truth, a lot of y'all motherfuckers should be lucky and should be thanking somebody that y'all got brought the fuck over here. Although many of us were already here, like I just said before, the real quote unquote Native Americans were actually quote unquote black people, and not the Mongoloids that we call the Native Americans. They were a very, very, very small minority. The original Seminoles, Black Hawks, Cherokees were quote unquote black people that would look like me and Mike to a degree as well. But obviously we know where Mike's from. But I digress. No, and I think that's I think this is important, right? I think that when we're having these conversations, and I don't even want to use the go back to Africa and try your hand argument, but what I will say, right, is that, like my co-host said, like if you're gonna have all of these issues with the country that you live in, right, that people are dying currently for your freedoms and such, right, to be able to talk the shit that you talk, cool. Where are your solutions? Where is your action? Right? Like that is my biggest thing. Like if you're going to have these, because you are well within your rights to say, you know what, because I understand that argument where it's like, oh well if I live in a place, I should have the right to speak my piece. Cool, speak your piece, but at some point, right, if you're gonna keep speaking that shit, you're gonna have to start backing that shit up with something, right? I can't just keep complaining about how I'm fat, I'm not in shape. Right, every single day, I'm like, man, the gym is. I wish it was closer to me. I wish it was fucking. You know, why the fuck is the gym set up the way that it is? It seems like only people that are in shape are really good for this. Like, I feel like they're really castrating against people that are bigger. You know what I'm saying? Because the way my back is set up, you know what I mean? Like, I have obesity in my family. You know what I'm saying? It's not okay. Like, I'm not okay with the system set in place to get in shape. It's not cool. Like, I'm gonna knock on wood, bro. I'm out of here. I'm losing my life, man. Like heart disease in the Afro community is not a joke. Like if I talk that shit, how the hell am I gonna get healthy, bro? So you know what the thing I do? I wake up at 6:15, 6:30 every day to go to the fucking gym. I don't like it, right? But because I know that the only way that I'm gonna get the fat off my body is by taking innate action to take my big ass butt to the gym. That is the only way I'm going to be able to lose said fat. I can't just keep complaining about the fat and not do anything about it. Like that is what that, and I know that's a very trivial type of comparison that a lot of people would just be like, oh, well, it's not my 400 years of slavery. Okay, cool. But I'm just simply saying that if there is for every action, there is a reaction. So for no action, there will be no reaction, guys. So if you keep thinking the status quo has not changed, what are you doing to change it?
Exactly, nothing.
And just having these conversations is not gonna sit in these panels, right? I'm not saying that they're doing it on purpose to just to keep the needle where it's at, but for a lot of y'all that be in these wokey woke centers of black excellence and all that, no, like a lot of y'all aren't doing shit.
Nope.
A lot of the careers you choose ain't shit. You're choosing. I'm excuse me to say, but you're choosing like gender studies degrees. You're choosing all these degrees that aren't advancing the human society. And it's like, well, hey, if you want to be the change that you seek in the world, then what you're not really getting a good head start.
Yeah, you're not doing nothing.
So hey. All power to you, but I can't live a life where I sit back every day and think about all the ways that I'm getting fucked over sideways.
And do nothing about it.
Man, like I take my L's on the chin, like every human should. It has nothing to do with you being of color. It has nothing to do with you being any sort of ethnicity. You take your L's, and I think the problem is that this community has taken so many L's that now they look back, they look around, they're just like, man, is it just us taking L's? Like, why is it gotta be us taking all these damn L's? No, Ninja, you were the most convenient ones. You were the most convenient ones. They saw y'all over in my beautiful continent. They said, hey, we need the resources. Come on over. Now they may not have said it all lovingly or like that. But the fact of the matter is they brought you over. Okay, guess what? You're here now. What? None of y'all are going back. So I don't even like using the go back because none of you, myself included, I'm 31 years old as of this year. I have not been to Africa. So I am not going to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, y'all got to come and see Nigeria. Y'all got to be Ninja. I am happy where I am. This shit ain't perfect, but Lord, the shit that my parents talk about Nigeria and Africa, I am good to visit, maybe have a place out there, investment property, but I am not. No, I ain't pulling the Akon anytime soon. Right? So I'm here. I am here to stay. And you know what I'm going to do while I'm here? I'm going to do my best to make sure that if I take any L's, it's because of me. Right? I'm going to make sure my W column is higher than my L column. But guess what? Anything that faulties on my end is because of an action that I did not take in my life to make sure that my future was blissful. And I think that this is something that the big difference, and I can't say it's all, right? Not all. All right. but a lot of you guys are sitting around just basically twiddling your thumbs, waiting for the somebody in a cape to come by and give you and show you the way.
Yep.
Ain't nobody coming.
Nope.
Ain't nobody come, and that goes against everything anyway, because you want so bad to get away from the white zaddy. You know what I'm saying? You want to get away from the white, but yet everything you talk about includes.
Drop the clues, Bob. Drop the clues, Bob. Mike, you go ahead, bro.
Yeah, this shit is crazy. Like, what the fuck?
Oh my God!
What am I doing here? Like, I am so confused. I don't understand. You don't want to be separate from Caucasians, right? Because you feel like we can all get along and get together. The Umars of the world say, you know, they dip and dabble in the you know, we need our own place, my brother. We need our own thing. We need our own path. We need our own, you know. But then at the same breath, they're basically, you know, they're running around, you know, promoting. They're getting lefty handouts.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, we gotta. I don't want to say we, because I'm sorry to say I know where I'm from. So I don't, you know what I'm saying? Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Yeah, this is terrible. I'm sorry. Yo, that's it. Cancel me if you want to. But at the same token, man, I'm telling you, like I don't know, man. I think we definitely had an episode on this about, you know, knowing where you're from, about culture and things of that nature, about the black culture, the quote unquote black culture. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, you know, these four individuals that are on the screen right now, it is such a, and maybe not Jesse Lee to an extreme, right? I mean, because Jesse Lee is he's in a class of his own, right? But you know, at the same token, like the mindset, right? And it's just like all four of these individuals probably think in a certain way, right? And yet they are on a channel, right? This episode right here caught almost 500,000 views, and last time I checked, YouTube was isn't YouTube owned by Zaddy? Isn't that owned by the? No, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if China got this one too, but they're using Zaddy's, you know, channel. I'm sorry, his platform to get the truth out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Dr. Umar, my brother,
mm-hmm.
why not have you not started a YouTube channel?
Yep. Well, have you to your own platform, Umar or Michael Imhotep? Fucking loser. I'll take that back. I don't like to do the name calling, but Michael Imhotep. If you keep playing this video, you're gonna see exactly why I just called him a loser. But again, I'm
okay. I think he's gonna, because you know what it is. Because this is Jesse. Jesse be doing that thing where he just be
laws that disenfranchised us, locked us out of voting. Then after the Civil War and after Reconstruction, 1877. Because I always notice black conservatives. I always notice black conservatives is two things you don't want to talk about. One, you don't want to talk about the compromise of 1870. No, you interrupted me.
Yeah, Tammy, come on. See, this is my thing. I can be objective on that. It's like, Jesse, you got to chill out. Like, this is. He might be talking full nonsense, but like, you know, it ain't no way, because I know when he talks, that's my only, like, my biggest gripe with like these types of combos. It's like, hey, look, like, I know people be saying dumb shit, and you know you want to be cutting that shit off as soon as you can, but like when you do this, it's not highlighting intelligence for me.
Yeah,
like,
and
you gotta take a step back.
Unfortunately, you can't even hear the other person, so that way, even if you say something that's not intelligent, you can't even hear it because I just hear you anyway. So
let him sink his own ship. You know what I'm saying? Like, let him hang himself by his own. Oh, I should.
All you doing is making excuses.
No. Slow down.
You sound like a female.
Slow down. I know you catering to the white people that donate to your show. But there's two things that black Republicans don't want to talk. And I'm not against black Republicans. I have friends that are black Republicans. You don't want to talk about the compromise of 1877. Which was the compromise between the Republicans and the Democrats, and the Republicans agreed to remove the Union troops out of the South, that reinstituted the Jim Crow laws, and the Union troops were protecting the rights of the newly freed slaves to a certain extent, because that's what the Democrats wanted. And you don't want to talk about the Lily White movement of 1928, which was the effort of Republicans to push African Americans out of the Republican Party and get Herbert Hoover elected as president in 1928. Now, if you want to have that conversation, we can have that conversation.
What does that do with 2022?
Michael, it's time to stop.
It has nothing to do with 2022. And if he wants to expound on that 1928 delegation, is bigger than that. It was bigger than just getting the quote unquote blacks out of the Republican Party. What they were trying to do was change the Republican Party to a religious party. That's how the whole evangelist started. So when they're evangelists, that's how you know, like when they're talking about like quote unquote racist white people. Goes, oh, I'm a Southern evangelist, the evangelist states. Yeah, that's what they were trying to do because they wanted their politicians to vote basically on a fundamentalist level, which is like, oh, nah, blacks are with blacks and whites are with whites, and the Lord made us separate and it's to be separate. So the whole evangelist thing that he's talking about, that he failed to expound upon, it wasn't just about getting them out of the Republican Party. Because at the end of the day, whether you get them out of the Republican Party or not, they still go to a different party. So there's no loss. Right?
Right.
That's my point. So, Lord have mercy, man. Keep going. Please, keep going.
Stop asking for freebies. I understand the women doing that because
you ever studied the Farmers Home Association 1930?
I understand why women are doing it.
You gonna talk about the $26 billion that white farmers got from the Trump administration and black farmers got 1/10 of 1% freebies?
Michael, I understand the women doing
it. That's such a stupid thing to say. No, that's such a stupid thing to. Look, I hate when white people make up 60% of the population, like if not more. So if that is juxtaposed to say that if there are 100 million, let's say I'm just throwing it out, if there are 100 million farmers that are Caucasian, right? And there's I think what is it like 13,000 like how are you so you're just supposed to give 30 million to the 100 million fucking farmers and 30 million to 5,000 black farmers?
But that's what they do because that's a great point you bring up, Mike.
Jesus,
I was willing to just say I'm unfamiliar with it, but you're correct because yes, if we're gonna do it cumulatively speaking, yes, the dollar amount is definitely going to be there's a large discrepancy when you look at the numbers like going towards white and going towards black just off of sheer size alone because of the demographics, the population. But if he was someone of note or of substance and actually cared about what the fuck he was talking about and had real solutions, he wouldn't bring it up because he could probably say, you know what, hey, when you break it down by percentage, it's actually it's equal. We got our equal share compared to what they got, and everything was on equal. And then again, I'll stop there. I don't know. In that regard, but the fact that he didn't bring that up, he doesn't know enough either. Which tells me he's just putting word soups and word styles together and trying to put it in front of black people because black people are just going to listen and say, oh, yeah, I'm riding with that because he put some fucking words together that I don't know about, so he must know what the fuck he's talking about. And that's incorrect. It's incorrect.
And who's to say, sorry to say, I'm going to get how dare you? But like, how many of y'all give a fuck about black farmers?
Yeah, right. I never hear these niggas Umar talking about black farmers.
When is the agenda ever? I mean, I'm not as much to say as just don't give a fuck about it. I'm just saying, like, until he said this, I hadn't heard any pundits talking about black farmers getting less than whatever. I've heard about the drought. I mean, I've heard about the famines and not the famines, the droughting seasons being a lot more elongated in a lot of different areas. So it's, affecting a lot of these farmers. They didn't break it down by, black, white, all this, but they were just saying farmers in general are dealing with, more losses than normal because of the disproportionate rain that's taking place in many of these different, these areas that are known more so for their agricultural provisioning and what they provide to the agricultural economy portion of the stock market. I've heard about that, but to say like this point, I mean, damn, I didn't shit like news to me. I don't know. And this I think this came out last year, but sheesh.
Yeah, last year.
Like, so now we're championing black farmers. Cool. Okay, now I know I could jot that down. All right, that's another group that's afflicted within the Afro community. Okay, cool. I'll take that. That
is a good question.
That is a good meeting. You know what I'm saying? We you know what I'm saying? I catch my enlightenment in the few, the fewest of places.
Question. So let's answer that question. You say that black people want freebies, but Michael just talked about a huge freebie for the white farmers. Are we not gonna? We're not.
So we're just gonna be throwing around just talking crazy now.
Yeah, white farmers with no real statistics. No percentage breaks down at all. Just
during the financial crisis of 2008, 2000, the banks were just throwing freebies as well. Like they weren't integral to the fabric of Americans, America's economy. You know what I'm saying? Like those are freebies too, right? Like, because I know some people were throwing. They were throwing them. They were giving them. Obama just gave them money. Just gave them bail these people out. Just free money for all these corporate folks.
No, but the thing is, a lot of people don't understand the necessity. He had to. If the banks collapse, the country collapse.
Yeah, no, I'm down with them. But even with these agricultural, like
if
these
they collapse, the country collapses.
These farms, some of these farms are putting in more than a lot of these other different industries. Like they don't understand like the amount of shit that is going through
with far more regulation.
Like
farms get far more regulated.
Yes, for sure.
Industries.
For sure, they don't play around with this shit, man. Like remember when the every time there's a E. coli or one of the other one, I can't remember anytime there's an E. coli outbreak, that just with lettuce alone, that shit just shifts the shit. Because you guys have to remember, like for people that don't know, like the agricultural companies trade on the exchange, guys.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of banks will do shorts, they'll do longs, they'll do many different types of derivative. They'll get into many different types of derivative type contracts with these entities, right, based upon their expected value, right, and what they're going to be producing for America's, infrastructure, right. So it is not. I think one of the big. I used to work for Rabobank. I can say this because I don't work there anymore. I don't need y'all doxing me. But I used to work at a Rabobank International, which was a huge agricultural conglomerate, and it was based out of the Netherlands. And they did a lot of interactions with agricultural banks, right? Because those exist. When people don't know that, right? There's a lot of those that exist, and so when people just act as though like these and that's why I wasn't saying the farming thing to say it like it was just it was not important. But I'm saying like. I mean, shit, man. Like, I mean, most of y'all don't care about one of the biggest backbones of the society anyway. So I don't know where we're turning now for him to be saying, we're giving out blacks and whites a disproportionate getting free. So talking about freebies, like it again, there's context. Context matters, and you're just gonna be saying shit like, well, they got more money than the black farmers.
Yeah, there's more of them than black farmers. So
I mean, but they don't want like he's not taking that leap. He saw us clipping it. You know what I'm saying? The highlight was this, and it's but I would I challenge him to say hey, like you were talking about, bring up the facts, right? Bring up the circumstantial evidence, so that way we can have an intelligent conversation about where the whole leads. But no, I know it's a short panel. I mean, a short time and timely panel. But if you're not going to do that time and have those points laid out, you're just throwing out.
Don't bring it up then. Shit.
You're just throwing out word salad.
Yeah, don't bring it up. Don't bring it up.
Empty calories, bro.
Look, man. I'll say this again, and then we can start the video back up. But it's real simple. Had he known the numbers and knew that it was in the benefit for quote unquote blacks, he would have said it. So that either tells me A, he doesn't know the percentage numbers, or B, he does, but it doesn't help his argument. So he'll just say overall, cumulatively speaking, they got more money than we did.
Right.
That's what we got to be on alert for, quote unquote, black people. That's how we get the okie doke pulled on us by our own people. That's the oh shit, Mike. Excuse my language. I just remembered what the hell. I did a 3-part series on this video alone. 3 parts. It's titled "Who Are the Real Coons?" Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3.
Oh, damn!
And I'm saying on my 3-part series that those dudes there, Umar and Imhotep, are the real coons, because they're the ones to keep you down. They're the ones trying to pull the wool over your eyes, trying to give you these statistics, but not all the statistics. They're the ones actually hurting the quote-unquote black community. Nothing that Jesse has said up until this point is going to hurt quote-unquote black people by saying, hey, be responsible for what the fuck you do. No. But for them saying, oh, no, it's the white man's keeping you down. Oh, white people get more of this. Talking about 1928, 1876, talking about all that shit. No, that's not helping us right now. What's going to help the single black mom what a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old right now today. None of the fuck they're saying, but what Jesse's saying, yeah. Am I a quote unquote fan of Jesse? No, I'm not. I'm not a fan of any man, but I can acknowledge the truth.
Well said.
All right, we're just gonna gloss past that.
There were black farmers who got money too.
They got 1/10 of 1% of $26 billion.
She asked me the question.
Hold on.
26 million.
1/10 of 1% of 26 billion. They got $20.8 million.
Tabby, as I was saying, there were black people who received the money too, and what Michael is talking about happened over 100 years ago or so. And those days,
2020 under Trump.
Those days are behind us.
That just happened last year, Reverend Jesse. Where you been?
There were black people who received it last year too, but you're not hearing about that. But what I want to tell you, Tabby, it's time out for black people to stop begging. I'm sick of it. We can make our own way. Black people can make their own way if they get up and do it. That's why we have to overcome this cultural thing, because blacks who are into their culture, they think that all blacks are just like them, begging and blaming and whining and talking about 150 years ago and all that. Why not live now? The blacks didn't do that when I was growing up, especially black men. They need to stop begging for freebies. America is an amazing place, right? And whatever you want to do in this country.
If I hear one more thing about reparations, bro, boy.
You can do it. You can make it.
That thought. Okay, yes, that is true. That is so true. I'll have to agree with you on that, Reverend Jesse. Whatever you want to do in this country, you can do. Yeah. Dr. Umar, earlier you talked about
whatever you can do, want to do in this country, you can do. Interesting.
Black men shouldn't date white women. Frederick Douglass was labeled a turncoat by many African Americans because he married a white woman. He was also criticized for his willingness to work with slave owners to seek a peaceful end to slavery. So what are your thoughts on that? Was Frederick Douglass a sellout?
Let me take the second point first.
Was your great-great-great-great-grandfather
with slave owners to bring a peaceful close to slavery? That is incorrect. Frederick Douglass had always maintained that slavery would not end except with blood. If there was any collaboration with slave owners, it was in discussion, because Frederick Douglass at one time worked with William Lloyd Garrison, who used moral persuasion as the primary weapon to end slavery. Frederick Douglass fell out with him because he knew that trying to convince white people that owning black people was morally wrong was not going to end the institution of slavery. So whoever made that comment was incorrect. Now let's go to the first point, that his second wife was a white woman who he married at a very old age. Was it acceptable? Not to me at all. But what bothers me, and what I do consider to be another act of racism and discrimination against black women, is the fact that Anna Murray Douglass, who is the mother of all 5 of his children, and his wife for nearly 50 years until she died of illness, who helped him escape from slavery to freedom, who came up with the escape plan, who made the escape outfit, who created the false free slave paper that he used to pass from Maryland through Pennsylvania and up to New York. She never gets mentioned. She never gets mentioned. We always skip over Anna Murray Douglass, his lifetime partner, for the white woman who he married just a few years away from the grave.
Nah, fuck all that, man. Fuck all that, man. Because this is what happens when you say the shit that you say. And I appreciate him staying congruent to a degree, saying that he has a problem with it even still, even though it was in old age. But all the buffers that you add in there, bro, a fact is a fact, right? Yeah. Dress it up however you want to dress it up. You married a white woman, right? Like it is what it is, bro. Like it happens. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Your great grandpappy, right, had jungle fever, and I don't understand why you can't just own that some of the shit that you say just may not have.
Well, he says it because 90% of the people that actually donate to him are quote unquote liberal black women. So he has to keep them at peace. He has to keep them, like, oh, I'm rooting for y'all, I'm pulling for y'all. So he has to say shit like that.
But that whole argument, that's just something we could talk about. I think there's another video we can break down. Speaking on interracial dating as well, because we haven't done anything on that in a while. But I mean that it's just nonsensical. That argument is nonsensical because it's disingenuous. Because I'm pretty sure that when Serena Williams married that half a man that she married, right, who's probably built like 50 pounds less than her, right? Everybody was like, "Oh yeah, go ahead, Serena, you got you a white zaddy, yeah, you go ahead, girl."
Yeah, no, he was consistent though. He was consistent.
No, I'm sure he had a problem with it too. I'm sure he had a problem with it as well. I'm talking about those people that he's placating to. Right? They congratulated Serena.
Yeah, they definitely.
But then bring up Candace Owens, and
well, not even that. Bring up Kamala Harris.
You can't talk. No, but I'm saying, well, because Kamala Harris is easy, but like I'm talking about Candace Owens. Candace Owens, she says anything that has any merit about the black community. Oh well, you can't really talk because you got yourself a white zaddy.
Yeah, she gets discredited.
But I'm pretty sure all y'all were celebrating Serena Williams.
Yo, they tried to do it to me too. They tried to discredit me. But
like,
you know what?
Crazy.
Look, I did a 3-part series with Dr. Umar Johnson talking about interracial marriages, and I said it then, I'll say it again very briefly. One, I am not the goddamn relationship police. If a man chooses to lay down with a woman of fucking Asian descent, whatever descent, Mongoloid descent, that's his damn choice. Number one. Number two, number one is the child is whatever the man is. The egg has 0 life. The egg flows through the fallopian tube based off the currents, and it sits. And if we all know what happens if nothing happens, if nothing comes from that egg gets flushed out, right? It gets flushed out. It happens every month. That's why they call it aunt flow, right? But if the egg is sitting there after it was pushed through the fallopian tube, and then the sperm cells actually come heat-seeking to that shit, that's the life. Those things are moving. The egg's not moving. The sperm is moving. The man puts the life into the woman, and then it goes into the egg, and then that's how we have that thing being formed. So we have to keep that in mind. It comes from the man. The child is whatever the fucking man is. So if a black man, like for instance, with me, my wife is quote unquote Caucasian. All of my offspring with her are going to be quote unquote black. Just off of that. And you could choose to agree with that or disagree with that. But at the end of the day, again, I'm not the police of that. Who the hell am I to say, hey, since you're black, you better be with a black person, a quote unquote black woman. That way, it's better for the quote unquote community. But yeah, that bitch can fucking give you hell every goddamn day for the rest of your life. You died at the age of 42. Because you was out here trying to fucking, you black, y'all, you black and you black, and now you dead at 42. You had a miserable fucking life in existence because you felt and you thought that you had to fucking fit into that bullshit. But little did you know, little fucking Ling Ling over here at the Chinese restaurant, she would have gave you the best life you could have had. She would have been cooking you fucking chop suey the rest of your goddamn life. You know what I'm saying? You'd have been 82, watching Bruce Lee movies with your goddamn great grandkids and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, this guy's crazy, man. Oh, we're gonna get canceled. But no, I mean, dang, you said it, man. I think it's just that debate is tired as time, man. I just think that, you know what, when people say that there's good women and men, out there, I agree, there are. But I heard somebody made this comment on a show I was watching. It was on The Saint and the Sinner, right? I actually would advise if you to take a look at that, because the guy is, while he is a whack job and he is he's definitely got an ego about him, but he's spitting some good hard shit. Marquette. So he was like, anything good in the world, right? In the economy, anything good is rare, right? It is not common.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're, so if there is a good person, right, no matter what background that they have, a good person that comes into your life, like, I just don't see why, why we should just be like, oh, well, they don't got the the complexion of the protection is not there, so they got to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that's weird. I just think that's a weird way to go about it, man. I just think that's bad business. You know what I'm saying? Like, and sorry that I don't, go into venues where, a certain group of people, inhabit. It just doesn't happen that way. I wasn't blessed to grow up in I don't say blessed, but I wasn't, given the opportunity to grow up in a Peterson or grow up in a Newark or grow up in some of these different areas. Look, I grew up in a very diverse area. So now you want me to move about and just say, no. I need to be with I need to be with a Nigerian. I need to be so now I gotta first find a good Nigerian woman, right, that isn't married, isn't because you don't want you don't want us to be home wrecker, you don't want us to be Mr. Steal girl, right? So I gotta find all these different things and do all of that, right?
Yeah.
Like that's insanity. It's insanity to me.
It's ridiculous.
Like I just don't think like my co-host said, playing relationship police, is something that I can't get jiggy with because there's a lot of y'all just gotta just pick the right person because y'all worried about keeping it in the club, but y'all can't even pick the right members of the club. So you're worried about the wrong thing. Like,
exactly, totally wrong.
Y'all can't even pick a guy that stays around that you can retain. But y'all worried about who we choose to settle down with. Like, how about you focus on your values and the things that you hold dear? How about you actually figure out what men want? You worried about us. You know what I'm saying? We got options. A lot of y'all just got options to clap your cheeks.
Yeah.
So let's just keep it real.
Yes, I'm doing that, right? I'm saying. I really hate to cut this short, but I have to.
I got to eat as well. I haven't eaten yet.
Yeah, we could definitely save the rest of the part too, because that dude to the right,
it's got 2 minutes left. I don't know if you know if there's another portion of this that you want to take a look at.
Well, I could definitely find it because I remember I did a whole 2-part series on that.
Seriously, So if you want to, we could do that. But before we head out, just let's plug our channel. So we have the M.A.S Media channel. You can find us on all major platforms, major streaming platforms, YouTube. You can find us on Spotify at M.A.S Media channel. You might have to you might see Black Kings Entertainment presents M.A.S Media on Spotify, so don't be alarmed. That is still us. You'll see our emblem is very similar. We also have the M.A.S Media page at, I believe it's M.A.S Media 615.
Yes.
So you'll be able to check us out there as well. We're trying to get better at posting on there. I'm just thinking about what direction we want our page to look, so that way we can get it to be more congruent to the podcast. But then we have our own channels as well. I have the Qfusion Reacts and Qfusion on Instagram, and then I'll let my co-host plug his channel.
Yes, and I also have the YouTube channel Double A.Heff. Double spelled Dubble space A space HEFF. And then also same for I lied, it's not the same for Instagram. Has underscores instead of spaces because Instagram's like that. But as you guys know, the people that's been around, you know how we do. We're definitely trying to get a routine for you guys, because I know I get asked a lot, like, oh, when are you guys going to do something on M.A.S Media and stuff like that? And then also, we have things in the works. But and also, I'm not sure if, I didn't tell people on this channel, but I did tell people on my Double A.Heff channel, the True Scope. I'm expecting another baby. So
woo-hoo! Yes,
thank you. So things like that, Yeah, but things like that, definitely, pulled me away from creating content. So, it's not a bad thing in the least, but it's just reality. So just to let y'all know. But Mike and I, we have a great aspirations for M.A.S Media as a whole. That's why every time we do make videos, we always plug you guys in and let you know what we have coming, upcoming. So please stick around. You have questions, you want to be a part of this, you know someone that may want to be a part of this, or you have advice, on your own. I mean, hey, just send us a message, send us an email, whatever the case may be. Social media, we are accessible.
Absolutely.
By all means. So don't feel any type of way, you know, and we'll bring you on the show. Shit, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Whether you agree with what we say or you don't agree with what you say. You know, whether I'll bring anyone on. Not because we're desperate, but because I'm having discourse.
Absolutely.
Hearing what different people have to say or how different people think about things. You know, I'm always open to that. So by all means, if you resent what the fuck we bring to y'all on a weekly basis, or who am I kidding? On a bi-monthly basis,
oh, dead.
You know hey, shit. You know what? Hey, be like, you know what? I want to come on the show. If your name happens to be Xavier fucking Bass Jack, and you got something to say, hey, by all means, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you can come on the show. Period.
Yo, this guy is crazy, man.
Yeah,
no, I mean,
yeah, I'm over the bullshit. You know, I was trying to be like, you know, the how they say like the iron fist, and then like the what is that? I wasn't given the iron fist. I was given like, you know, like the. But now it's time.
This guy came in. This guy came in with the. Yo, this guy, man. Yo, it's crazy, yo. Yo, nah. I mean, nah. My only thing is, hey guys, I'm just on that point. Stop asking us to do different formats and all this other stuff. Having another person, a different what's it called? Stop. Just stop. I don't see none of y'all emailing The View. I don't see none of y'all emailing DeGeneres. I don't see none of y'all interview. I'm asking The Real to bring on different people. Their show is what their show is, right? They bring on guests, which we're more than, like my co-host mentioned, we're more than willing to do that. It's just a matter of finding people that, again, are able to talk on topics from a logical perspective and not an emotional, sensationalized perspective. Just because that'd be great for YouTube doesn't mean that's great for conversation. So, that's what we're gearing towards, is having more of a logical perspective. So, again, stop if you want. We're all good for feedback. We love feedback, but just telling us to bring on somebody, change our format just to appease what you need to see to a degree, is just not going to happen. You don't go to Oprah Winfrey's show. You don't say, Oprah, bring on Gail. You know what I'm saying? Oprah, bring on Dave Chappelle so he can talk shit about you. Like, you don't ask for these things, so don't ask us. Right? That it is set up the way it's set up for a reason. We have one more co-host that we were trying to get back to the Miss Solomon. We love you, but outside of that, there are no plans of bringing anyone else on. Okay, that is not a guest.
Exactly.
So please, like, just tread carefully when you talk to me, because I'll be having that. I'm ready. And I'm gonna have that same energy when I break it down for you. I'm gonna be like, look, I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying that. But do you do the? I'm gonna go right into Hotep mode. Okay, I'm gonna have the hands just. My brother, just if I could have this quick moment with you, my brother. I would love to.
My brother.
I would love to be able to give you a little bit of insightful literature. Those that cannot do, shall not do. And you know where I got that from? I got that in the book of Galatians, right? So where to shut the fuck up, all right? Because I'm sick of that shit. That shit is so fucking annoying. All right, now my rant is over. I'm done. All right, I gotta.
The book of Galatians. I'm done, y'all. Have a good night, y'all. Double A out.
Hey, you guys have a good one. Peace.
Are you sure about that?